you know. So you have to put these things in place, you know, before even starting it, because you have to have mechanics. Cars are not like, in fact, human beings do get sick. So, you know, it can develop problems anywhere, anytime. How many mechanics in Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Bayelsa, that you can bring today and say, okay, these are, you know, professionals that can handle, you know, because if you have a problem in Bayelsa, you can't take it to Cross River State. You understand what I'm saying? So you can tow it, you know. So the idea is very, very good, because I understand and I do know that if you are driving on a gas
Powered vehicle,
you know, the cost is a little bit low than the PMS. So I do believe that is a very good idea, but these things needs to be on ground. You know what I'm saying? That the infrastructures, you know, something like the where you can come in and get the gas.
Okay.
And it's not where you come in there and you're delayed. You know, you can get in there and then you move, just like buying fuel. So those are the infrastructures I'm talking about.
Okay, well, let's also look at another aspect that is of very serious importance in this, and that has to do with to what extent the situation of the CNG, as we are seeing it play out in Nigeria currently, will go in affecting the economic realities in the country. I mean, we know what has been happening for some time now, a lot of months now, since the inception of the current administration as regards fuel, the subsidy removal, and food items, how people buy stuff in the market. It has, to a very large extent, left a lot of questions in the minds of Nigerians. Now, to what extent do you think that the successful implementation of this CNG move would help in cushioning the economic realities that we are having currently?
Yes, it would. Of course, it will definitely help. You know, in a long way, it will go a long way to bring down the cost of, you know, goods and services. If for example, if you're paying right now buying the gas at 1,000 something, that is a fuel, and then the gas is about 500. I don't know how much it's going to cost, and it's going to take you for almost like a gas of 5,000. I can take you to Calabar, and if you were to use petrol, that will be about 15,000 to Calabar. So it will definitely help to bring down the cost of, you know, food, stuff, and everything in the market, even services as well.
Okay, you are a car dealer,
yes,
and you understand a lot of the economics that come to play when it comes to doing this business. To what extent do you think that this move from petrol, diesel to CNG will affect your business? Do you think you're still going to be effectively in business?
Well, that is the danger of it, because you know what, we are not selling CNG cars now. So until when that cars are in the market, we have to also sell. And these are the things that we talk about, you know, policies, making policies. You have to bring all the stakeholders and also listen to them and see ways you can also help. Because, for instance, we have close to about 3,000 or so car dealers in Akwa Ibom. You know, those ones that are registered with our organization. And then, because we are a registered body, we have a national body that is the AMDON, you know, of Nigeria. So, you know, when you do not consult these stakeholders and you impose policies, which are very good policies, so that everybody will prepare their minds into, you know, instead of jumping into an area you've never expected. After all, you know, car business is not a moi business. You know, it's not like you buying, I'm not saying moi is not a good business, but what I'm saying in terms of the cash that you have to invest in the business.
Yeah.
So it takes a whole lot of money and funding. So with that, you know, for you now to bring in stuff that will really affect the market, so it's really going to affect us, and we do not understand. So it would have been government place to invite our group, you know, to, you know, all these meetings that they're having. Of course, I think I've seen that they were talking to transporters. But
okay.
I think it's also good to have those who are also dealers, you know, these major dealers in cars, you know, so that let us look at the future.
Okay, well, what would be the smart move that organizations such as yours, the one that you belong to and chair, what would be the next line of action in ensuring that you also key into this departure from fuels so that you can also stay relevant in the market?
Yes, I think the whole place is alternate, because you can't have everybody on the same page. The fuel is not going to go away. It's still going to be around, even in the Western world, you still have people running on normal fuel, that is petrol.
But it will be de-emphasized.
Yes, of course, because if you can maintain it, if it's good with your car, or if you can go and convert. But the truth is this, that it is going to affect us, except we will have cars that we're going to sell that are compliance of CNG, CNG compliance.
Okay.
And then I've not seen, I think maybe no sinners have heard about it, but I've not seen other cars that have been brought into Nigeria that you will have such
okay, the concern you're having is more about partnership. And this program has already been flagged off. But then I still believe that there are potentials or initiatives that the government can implement in ensuring that every dealer is carried along. What would you say are those specific steps that government can take currently to ensure that bodies like yours that still feel they've not been properly carried along are carried along?
Well, I just want to thank you and your management for having me in this program. So these are the issues, and I do believe that government that are listening will also, find a way to bring us in, as stakeholders, because when you look at, if you total all our assets, in the marketplace, it gets into billions, so when you look at that kind of market, you can't just allow it to go extinct. You must try in a way, because this economy, we're going through so much now. So what we're trying to do is that as far as government is bringing in the policy that is good, and we support the policy, so the stakeholders must be brought in so that we see where we can fit in, rather than the way the things are going, we are only hearing and we do not understand their fate. Because we are dealers, we sell cars, we import vehicles, or we bring in, second-hand used vehicles, that is in the market. So those are the things that we're pleading with government. Please, if any policy is done, get the stakeholders in the business, the totality, not just the transporters, but those that are selling, to get involved.
Well, a lot of lofty comments have been made as regards CNG. Now let's talk about some downsides as regards CNG right now.
Yeah, the benefits.
And the benefits, of course, but then there was a story just recently about an issue with a cylinder during the process of conversion. What are those negatives that are there, and how can they be addressed to see to it that it doesn't cause issues for persons?
You see, the hazards of this is real, and that's why we're talking about, let's have mechanics first, and those fitters, those that are going to fit these things.
Professionalism comes into play now.
It's coming, yeah. So you must have these people, because it's not like you having a mechanic and you're calling a mechanic, come and do this. These are gas. And if it's, in a second, anything can happen. So what basically needs to be done, let's get people trained. Let me say, for instance, now, if you are bringing electric cars, a lot of our mechanics will be out of jobs into the system. And soon that is going to happen. How many people here do know about electric vehicles? And a lot of people will be in it. So instead of migrating them to understand what they are going to face in future, so you have to bring them. I think it's the policy of government.
Okay, this brings me to a very important question. This will be one of the last questions I'll be asking you. How to ensure that these persons that you have spoken of are also moving with the trend? Because it might seem as though we are not going to halt. There will continually be changes within the system. You just talked about electric cars. And this is coming into Nigeria, whether we like it or not. Yes, how and to what extent can we ensure that the mechanics that we have now, and the ones that will be coming in eventually, have the idea and knowledge as regards how these things work?
Yes. I think the most important thing is to have them. Government has to play a part. I'm sorry that there has to be government always. Sensitizing them to let them understand that, look, or by bringing, because, like, for instance, let me say this, Akwa Ibom State government buys so much from Toyota. Most of the cars they use is from Toyota. So I think the best way is to work with Toyotas and say, okay, you are the major dealer, you're bringing vehicles here. What you need to do is this, get our people trained. you know.
Okay.
And then those that are trained will become trainers, you know. So that way it's split down to, you know, if you have 60% of mechanics covered, they will train others as well, and those ones that are coming in. So all I can say is that the benefits to me of having CNG, you know, outweighs a lot of things. The only factor that I really consider that is risk is the issue of repairs, those mechanics. You know, if you do not have them, and those that will fill in the gas, and they you know, because you must have those things and they must be in perfect conditions.
All right. Well, I know that we have some reactions as regards this pertinent conversation we're having on the CNG initiative by the presidency, and would be bringing you some of the reactions. This one is from Olubumi Aro, and he says, not only the Nigerian army, even the Delta State, with the highest FAC, cannot even solve their transport system. Niger State, with 6 billion monthly compared to Delta, with 43 billion, just bought 250 CNG buses. What is Delta State spending their money on? The people of Delta seem okay with their governor. Defense and the Nigerian Navy have hand in all theft and bunkering in the region. Well, this person seems to have concerns as regards how some states are able to cater for their needs while others can't. This one is from Isoko Brother. How many CNG buses has the state with the highest allocation governed by Honorable Sharif Oborovari and the Delta State government procured? Niger State has procured 250 for interstate travels. Niger State is also revolutionizing agriculture in Delta. All they do is patch roads and make noise. Well, the next reaction is from Steel J, and he says, my opinion on priorities: crude production, refinery, CNG production, and diversification are 24 months out at best, and very much dependent on current stability. All eyes on Niger Delta stability. Well, some reactions there within the Niger Delta as regards the move from CNG. Apparently, some people are concerned as regards how state governments can key into the CNG initiative and also ensure that they are able to properly incorporate the different segments of their societies. But then, what would be your reaction as regards the role of state governments in powering this particular initiative?
Well, of course, you know, transportation is the key to the economy of this country, because the movement of everything depends on transportation. And that's why you see, you know, when things change from the transportation aspect of it, every other thing goes up, because fuel powers transportation. And once you touch that, you know, so the government has to do a lot. They have to invest. I know they have to go into infrastructures like roads and other things, but they have to. Transportation is the key. If you want to bring down the cost of, you know, you subsidize heavily on transport. So you bring in not like 2 buses. What can 2 buses do in a state? You know, not 10, not 20. You know, I don't remember, you know, to the villages, you must have transportation. From there, you move goods down, you know, from hinterland to the cities.
Let's take Akwa Ibom, for instance, now. How many buses do you think that can be sent to this particular state, CNG buses now, to see the way that it caters for the transportation needs of the people? Because there are still real-time complaints as regards the biting effects of transportation. People are not able to move around easily. And this conversation has been on for a very long time, and we don't know if an end is in sight. To what extent can the promises that we have had already be fulfilled, and how much of these buses can Akwa Ibomites have, or indeed other states of the Niger Delta, to solve the transportation issue?
You know, to a large extent, I must truly appreciate Akwa Ibom for one thing. It's about roads. You know, we have very good roads. And because of that, you can look at it as a triangle thing, you know, from Oron to Eket to Ikorobasi. And then you move from there to Abak Ikoregbene, and then Ikoregbene back to Uyo, and then from Itu, you bring it down to Uyo again. Then from Uyo back to Oron. It's the government have to specify roads. You know, you can bring in a bus and it stops at Abak, another bus will have to bring people to Uyo. and you can bring in a bus from around and it has to come to you. So if government will, could work with the NURT or, W or whatever, whether they went into or move into private partnership or, because there must be competition. So you have people coming and say, okay, let's compete. Government gives and then monitor. You have these vehicles moving from around because that's where you have the fishes and all the seafood that we're taking in, and then you move, things from Ikorabasi. Then Ikorekbene. When you have Ikorekbene, you talk about Badini, you talk about Obodokara, you talk about so people coming from Interland, the center will be at Ikorekbene for now. That way it will really help and reduce the cost and the danger of, people going through a whole lot. You must realize that, if you have a government transportation vehicle, mode of transportation, people will want to go with that, unlike the private sector that, in the night particularly. Because if you're in a government bus, you feel more safer than you enter a vehicle that you do not even know, having 3 people in the vehicle and then you don't know.
Okay, Mr. Bob, as parting shot, I would like to get your own perspective as regards the initiatives of the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He had declared fuel subsidy is over. And since then, he has been making efforts to see to it that these effects are cushioned to a large extent. Do you think that the path he is towing will definitely lead Nigeria to self-sufficiency and prosperity?
Of course, and truthfully, I must give it to the president. But the truth, again, is the implementation. Nigeria has good ideas. Good ideas. You have good, people organize seminars. If you had any seminar, you feel that, okay, after now,
everything will be all right.
Yeah, but immediately after that, you don't know. The next thing will come, the attention is off, and another thing comes, you divert to another, So the most important thing is implementations. If you have not nice talking and all of that, the most important thing, let's have these things in place.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman, Akwa Ibom Motor Dealers Association, Mr. Robert Bob, for featuring the Niger Delta today. We really appreciate your opinions and ideas on the program.
Thank you. I hope you invite me again here to talk about the problems we face as motor dealers.
Absolutely.
So today we're just talking about the CNG and then...
You can count on that.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Well, many thanks for staying tuned to Niger Delta today. Unfortunately, we will be interrupting the Niger Delta today to connect live in FCT. The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, is currently holding an event. We'll be broadcasting that particular event live. Please do bear with us as we join that particular footage. Do stay tuned.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
aka the Steez Prince.
Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Jekoko. My name is Mutale Mwanza, the Queen of Zambian Media.